it is 5 o'clock, so I will call the meeting to order and welcome you to this special board meeting on June 1st. Number 2 is the Pledge of Allegiance, so we will do that. Okay, number 3 is the roll call. Mrs. Oxley.
Ms. Hamilton?
Present.
Mrs. Brown? Here. Ms. Hunt?
Here.
Mrs. Simonetti? Here. Mrs. Fitzgerald? Here. And Mrs. Mitchell?
Here. Number 4 is approval of the agenda, so at this time I would entertain a motion for approval of the agenda.
Support.
Thank you, Libby. Thank you, Shalonda. Any deliberation? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Number 5 is citizens requesting to address the board, and we don't have any tonight. And number 6 is action items. So our first one is 21-22-136, resolution calling public hearing on ESSER 3 grant funds. Marcus.
Good evening. So we've talked about our ESSER grants a few times before, and one of the requirements necessary to receive our third round of ESSER funding is to have meaningful stakeholder consultation to consider on the proposed use of the funds. We plan on holding a public hearing on Tuesday, June 21st, immediately following our proposed budget public hearing for this purpose. Some of the things that we will discuss in the public hearing will be a little background on the ESSER grants, all of the different rounds, the different funding sources, the surveys that we had sent out to all the entire community earlier this year, our district budget proposal. We'll also have a separate public comment for the use of these ESSER 3 funds. So at this time, we are recommending adoption of the attached resolution that you have to call for the public hearing to have public input on the ESSER 3 funds to be held Tuesday, June 21st at 6 p.m. at Middle School at Parkside.
Okay, thank you, Marcus. So at this time, I would entertain a motion for adoption of the attached resolution calling a public hearing to receive public input on the ESSER 3 funds to be held on Tuesday, June 21st, 2022 at 6 p.m. at the Middle School at Parkside.
So moved. Support.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Cheryl. Any deliberation? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next line item is 21-22-137, Jackson High School Media Center Auditorium AV bids. Marcus.
We received bids for the audiovisual upgrades both here at the Media Center and at the auditorium here at Jackson High. We received and reviewed those bids on May 25th. At this time, we recommend awarding the bid to Sound Planning in the amount of $261,705 as presented.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I would entertain a motion awarding the bid to Sound Planning in the amount of $261,705 as presented. Thank you, Libby. Thank you, Shalonda. Any deliberation? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next line item is 21-22-138, Human Resources. Mr. Beal.
Thank you very much. It is the recommendation of the superintendent to hire Mr. Jeremy Patterson to fill the role of Assistant Superintendent for Secondary Education here at Jackson Public Schools. After an exhaustive interview process, 3 rounds, where we put him through his paces, he and several other candidates, we had a nationwide pool of applicants. We had candidates from Florida, candidates from Cleveland, Ohio. We had superintendents here in Michigan, as well as principals from around the state. Mr. Patterson's experience at all 3 grade levels really demonstrated his knowledge and understanding, not just of Jackson Public Schools, but of how education truly works from pre-kindergarten all the way through the collegiate level. I am very excited to make this recommendation at this time.
Okay, thank you. So at this time, I would entertain a motion for the hiring of Jeremy Patterson as Assistant Superintendent for Secondary Curriculum and Instruction.
So moved.
I don't know if it was Pam or Libby for the first. Okay. Okay, thank you. Any deliberation?
Yes, I have a couple comments. So I want to let you all know why I will not be supporting this hire at this time. So I've had different opportunities to be in communication and conversation with Jeremy Patterson, and he is, during those occasions, we've had great conversations. And just my personal dealings with Jeremy Patterson have been good. Each time that we've had conversations and the different times that I've had to speak with him and, just times we had conversations together. Prior to being elected as a JPS board trustee, often I'd get parents who would be really fleeing from JPS and fleeing Parkside because of the culture of bullying and harassment that's there. At the time, I could not speak on it because my children didn't go to JPS at that time. Once I became a board member, I did choose to put my 2 students at Parkside, and they've been there just for this past year. And I'm a mama bear, so my kids are always going to be taken care of. And, like I said, every time I've had to speak with Mr. Patterson, he's always been great with my babies. I recognize, and one of the reasons why I ran to become a JPS board trustee, is I recognize not everybody had a mama bear as a mama, as their mother. For whatever reasons, and no judgment on these parents in any way, shape, or form, because I didn't have a mama bear when it came to education when I was growing up, which again was why I ran. Many of the parents that I've met since I brought my students to Parkside, because my students are involved in different things at Parkside, have expressed on numerous occasions the bullying that their students have endured, and the times that they've had conversations with Jeremy and his staff, and how fruitless those conversations have been. How, parents trying to stop and keep their students from being attacked and not being heard, not being listened to, not being responded to the point that their students were attacked. And then they just felt to leave, because at that point they really had no other options, because they had already done everything that they thought they could do to keep their students from enduring that type of behavior and that attack, which, we know. I've been attacked at least once in my life, and it was the most traumatic event that I've ever experienced. And I was an adult at the time that it happened. So kids experiencing this, I know for them it's a traumatic event that, we don't want to allow to continue to happen. And I speak about that because this culture, these parents are speaking on this, and it's continuing. It's a lot of them at Parkside. Given the fact that we recognize that 12, 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, they have their issues with, bullying, peer pressure, et cetera, it still is a part of the culture at JPS. The other thing that really is concerning, that coupled with the bullying that happens at Parkside, is that we are getting ready to pay out a $700,000, close to a $700,000 lawsuit that JPS lost to a defendant here, Penny Davis. In that lawsuit, and I did read through all the documents because I wanted to make sure that I had my information straight, and because it's just important to me to make sure that I have all my information straight. Jeremy Patterson was named as one of the individuals who retaliated directly against this defendant. And again, we're about to pay out $700,000, close to $700,000 from JPS funds that's taken away from our babies, our students, our teachers. For that reason as well, I can't in good conscience support that hire, especially not only that, but also because you're likely going to be the compliance officer. And I don't know that I could trust, I know for a fact that I can't trust your judgment in that space after all these things have occurred. I'm not sure, I don't even understand how we as a school district would be willing to give you something higher, more paying, more responsibility after we have a $700,000 lawsuit that we're about to pay out. So for that reason, though, I will not be supporting this hire.
Okay, any other deliberation? I would just like to say, Jeremy, you have an excellent reputation around the district. My daughter is in 6th grade, and she has had an amazing experience at Parkside. It is such a well-ran school, and not just from my point of view. I talk to plenty of parents, and not just friends of my daughter, but a lot of people stop me, see me. A lot of people have come, school of choice, to Parkside. So thank you for all you do. I'm very excited that you're going to be moving up in this position.
Ditto.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Okay, motion carries. Congratulations. Number 7 is adjournment, so I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. Any deliberation? Okay, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you for coming, and you will notice a lot of calendar events coming up around the district. Thanks for coming.